is 15 minutes past 8.
Hey, Rob, Steve.
Oh, hiya. How are you?
Are you free to go away?
Where?
It's a job. It's kind of a tour. Really good restaurants.
Why me?
Misha can't come and I don't want to go alone. I've asked other people, but they're all too busy. So, do you want to come? Should be 2 rules.
This film is called The Trip. It's screening at the New Zealand International Film Festival. Lena Lamont's been seen a whole bunch of stack of films at the festival, that's for sure. I don't know how she does it. But someone's got to do it.
Someone's got to do it. It's a dirty job.
Yeah. And just talking about that trailer. Well, because they had Morgan Spurlock in, and he's got his film at the New Zealand International Film Festival.
Yeah.
His trailer starts out exactly the same way.
Oh.
I think it must be a formula. You plug in your visuals into like a trailer formula, a template. And music, drag, drop,
And of course that music is perfect for leading into something quite slowly and then getting quite sort of manic,
Oh, I must take a look at this trailer.
Right.
Movie looks great.
Yeah.
Something.
Well, let me tell you, The Trip is a blast and a half.
Yeah?
Yeah. So
Steve Coogan.
Steve Coogan and Rob Brydon. So Steve Coogan, audiences will know as, primarily, I guess, Alan Partridge. Aha, knowing me, knowing you.
And the guy who took on the PR guy for News of the World recently.
Yes, he did indeed.
Very cool.
So, all right, news-watching audiences will know him from that. So Stephen Coogan's been around for donkey's years, a fantastic British comedian with a particularly wry sense of humour. Audiences may be less familiar with Rob Brydon, but hopefully not, because, my God, he's a star.
Yeah.
He's this wonderful, I'm inclined to say, wonderful little Welsh chap. He's not little at all, but he's a Welsh actor, comedian, amazing impressionist. He's huge in the UK.
I love impressionists.
Oh, well, this whole film, you have to see The Trip. It is basically Steve Coogan and Rob Brydon playing versions of themselves, versions that are pretty true to life, let's be honest, but slightly hyperbolized versions of themselves, so that you've got Steve Coogan playing himself as somebody who thinks he ought to be a bigger film star than he is, and why is he only getting round the world in 80 days when he should be getting the big stuff? And Rob Brydon, who's a much more self-effacing, I can't do the Welsh accent without sounding distinctly Pakistani, but he's much more, I have quite a good career and I have a nice family at home.
Not bad.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So, maybe you and I could do an impression off, because basically, right, Steve and Rob are travelling around the north of England on a bit of a road trip, and we see footage of them either in their four-wheel drive vehicle driving from gourmet restaurant to boutique hotel, or we see them at the restaurants having these fantastic meals.
Yeah.
And while they're drinking and eating, they start doing impressions, and they do a Michael Caine off. I mean, it's wonderful.
Nice.
Where one is actually saying, no, that's not right. That's not quite how it is. It's got to be more like this, And he's like, no, honestly.
So, and you're talking about it, somehow it evoked a little bit about that wine film, with the...
Sideways.
Sideways. A little bit sideways.
True, except that, of course, they were proper actors. So, Paul Giamatti and Thingy Hayden Church, what's his name? That guy.
Yeah.
They're actors who are funny.
Yeah.
Well, maybe Hayden Church actually is meant to be a comedian in real life, but you know what I mean? Whereas these guys are primarily comedians.
Yeah.
Lucky to have an acting job in a way. Both Rob and Steve, of course, were in Tristan Shandy, a cock and bull story.
Yeah.
A couple of film festivals ago, which was also directed by Michael Winterbottom. Now, Michael Winterbottom, who made this film, it's worth saying that The Trip is actually, for those who watch British TV drama on DVD or by other illicit means, I don't even know if we're going to get it here. I wish we would. It's actually a 6 half-hour slot TV series that Michael Winterbottom, who directed that as well, has sort of spliced into a feature-length movie. It works great.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I have not laughed so much for such a long time.
Oh, good, because I'm a fan of Coogan and Impressionist, so I want to see this.
Yeah, I'm as usual at risk of bigging it up too much, but honestly,
do they do a good George Bush?
They don't do George Bush at all.
They're supposed to, they don't
They
need
do
to.
Woody Allen, Michael Caine, all the James Bonds so well.
Brilliant.
A little bit of Liam Neeson as Rob Roy.
Yeah.
Was it Liam Neeson who was Rob Roy?
No,
my
that was
gosh.
I'm thinking Michael Collins. No, that's
not Michael Collins. There's definitely a bit of Rob Roy that they do at one stage. Oh, just fantastic.
Cool. All right, The Trip is the name of that. It's a screening at the New Zealand International Film Festival. What else?
Well, then there's a documentary called Senna about Ayrton Senna, the Brazilian Formula One racing car driver.
Right.
who...
Because there'll be a lot of fans of this.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Interestingly, I've been reading up about this film and about documentaries in general. Yeah. In the UK, this is already ranked fifth all-time top-grossing documentaries to screen in the United Kingdom. Yeah, we're talking after Taking the Void, Touching the Void, and some of those, and Fahrenheit 9/11, I think,
probably
is the biggest grossing. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So Senna is already, it's only been out in the UK for about a month and a half, and it was already well within that top 10, so I think sort of ranked fifth. So the interesting thing about Formula One, is I'm not a Formula One person.
There's a lot of people out there. They stay in New Zealand. They either stay up late at night or they record it, get up early and watch it. Whatever, yeah.
But the thing with this documentary is it is about this wonderful, charismatic young man who this is not a spoiler to say died tragically, because everybody knows that.
Yeah.
And it's just a completely enthralling, magnificent documentary. And the other interesting thing about it, from my point of view, having seen a hell of a lot of documentaries, I know you're a doco fan as well, is all of the footage in this film is found footage. It's either YouTube clips or home video or footage from inside the pre-race meetings, so behind the scenes kind of stuff. So there is no what we call talking heads interviews.
So voiceover?
Contemporary. And there is no external voiceover. It's not like you've got Brad Pitt or someone saying, and then Senna decided to do... It was none of that. Basically, the voice soundtrack over the top, if you will, are the interviews that have previously been done with Ayrton Senna, or particularly with his sister. That
is a real art to put together a documentary like that, where you just let the footage tell the full, complete narrative.
Absolutely. It is an art. And Asif Kapadia, who I think is mainly sort of ads and music videos in the UK, has done an amazing job of splicing this together.
It would take forever to edit.
Yeah, well, of course, because he had like thousands and screeds of hours of footage. Oh, the other awesome thing about it is, they'll put a camera in the cockpit, sort of thing, in the actual car.
Yeah.
And so you get a lot of footage where you're actually on Senna's right shoulder.
Wow,
sort of thing.
on the big screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going round corners at, I don't know, 200 kilometres an hour or more, or it's
even better than playing
amazing.
Gran Turismo.
It is. I found myself sort of veering in my seat, a little bit like when you go to those amusement park rides where the seats move and everything.
Yeah. Well, see, I'm not much of a sports car fan, but I will watch one race in the Bathurst every year, and the only thing I ever look forward to is the one lap where the commentators shut up, and then just the camera inside the car, and it just goes around the track.
Well, in that case, you should see this film, because you'll get plenty of that.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of behind-the-scenes drama. And it isn't that Senna was a dramatic personality. He's actually a very humble, very handsome, lovely, very spiritual Brazilian guy, lad, effectively, who was very talented, and... but it's very, fantastic film. Really, really worth going.
And finally,
for something completely different,
a
wonderful Belgian film, so it's all French with subtitles, by the Dardenne brothers, and it's called The Kid with a Bike.
Okay.
Now, these brothers, have done plenty of films that are really heavy going. There was one in particular, L'Enfant, the child, about a very young couple and their baby, and just kind of like really gritty, really naturalistic, really kind of devastating. So this is kind of gritty, naturalistic and devastating too, but luckily this film is actually a little bit more optimistic. It's a beautiful story. It starts terribly sad. We've got this lovely little boy who's no mention of his mother. I don't know what would have happened to his mother, but when we meet this child in the beginning of this film, his father's abandoned him and sort of said to the kid, I'll come get you in a month. But this child is like, well, I need to find my dad. So he's trying to enlist people's help to find his dad. And, of course, when he does find the dad's really not that keen to be in, I can't cope, I can't have you.
Right.
So we have, effectively, this lovely little orphan child who has the sort of behavioural problems that would go along with that sort of situation. And he's kind of taken into the foster care at weekends, at least, by a lovely woman in the village who runs the hairdressers. So it's kind of a beautiful relationship movie of her taking on this child and all the trouble that ensues.
And he gets given a bike?
He has a bike at the beginning, and the whole story about the bike is that his bike got stolen, And he's like, well, my dad gave me that bike, I've got to find it. And every time he puts the bike outside the corner shop, some other little bratty kid from the neighbourhood will come and ride off on it, you know. So, but he's a feisty little kid. And
Sounds like he has it tough. Yeah.
He does have it tough, and he's tough as well.
All right, that's screening at the New Zealand International Film Festival. Of course, all the times and bookings and whatnot at nzff.co.nz. You can also check out the film reviews in the Sunday Star Times and lenalamont.wordpress.com. Lena, we'll see you next time.
See you next time.
And we'll go out in a little bit here of the trip.
Cry for help. If you were to allow your child to have an illness, you could win Oscar Best Actor.
That's disgusting.
What
kind of illness?
I want a room with a view. I want to see a tree.
I'd like a vodka martini, shaken but stroked.
She was only 16 years old. I directed the whole movie. Hello!
How's the trip been?
I can honestly say it's one of the most enjoyable periods of my life.